Hey everybody, I'm Jack Wagner. Welcome back to the Rig Rundown video series that we're doing for the MIDI and synthesizer gear that I use for Anthem. In this episode, it's number 6, we're going to talk about the laptop. I have a Windows laptop running Windows 8, and there are two key pieces of software running on the laptop. The first one being Ableton Live. It's a very versatile, powerful digital audio workstation that is well suited for live performance, which is why I use it. And the second piece is MIDI Translator Pro. The MIDI Translator Pro is a piece of software that receives MIDI signals from the ActitioN MIDI controller and interprets those and does some very nice convenience functions for me. For example, I have a button to scroll through our song list, so I press one button on it and it goes to the next song, meaning that it sets up all the gear that I use to go to the next song. So it sets up the performance on the JUNO-G, it initializes the PK-5A into a known state, it tells Ableton Live, go to this song, and opens it and gets it ready to go. And that's invaluable at a live performance. I used to go to each piece of gear individually and set it up, and that's error prone, and it takes a little bit of time and a little bit clumsy. But the Translator Pro, the MIDI Translator Pro software is very powerful, does a great job. It makes my life a whole lot easier at a live show. The next thing, obviously I can go forward or backwards through our song list. I don't go backwards at a gig ever, so that's only for like a performance, or I'm sorry, a rehearsal, or my own personal rehearsal when I'm doing my own thing by myself. The other thing that the MIDI Translator Pro software does for me is it allows me to start and stop any of the sequences that I have in Ableton. And like I said before, one of the previous episodes of the series, we do things like the count in, where it goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, stuff like that, and it gets us off on the right pace and things like that. And so Ableton is a very powerful tool, and I know I'm just barely scratching the surface of what it's capable of, but I do some things like when I get MIDI data in from one of the devices, I might translate it to another note, or I might make a chord out of it and send that chord out, or I might use that data to trigger an audio sample that I have loaded into Ableton, things of that nature. It's a very powerful tool, a lot of capability, and like I said, I barely scratched the surface with it. It's a rabbit hole. It's a whole world of its own. You can get lost in that stuff for hours. I've spent hours getting all these things set up, and still just barely scratching the surface with this stuff. That's it. I believe that concludes the video series for all my rig rundown. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up on Facebook or in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in.